Hello, everybody. Welcome into the recap show. I do hope that this works. I've recorded games. I've talked over them, and they've been recording. And then I click stop recording, and it says gameplay is not saved. I hope this doesn't happen to me then. If it does, you're not gonna hear this. But also, I'm gonna be very, very fucking frustrated. Yeah. All right. Snow games. Steelers versus Tennessee. Advantage. Tennessee. Run the ball. Let Steelers strike first and second. Devin Bush the pick, huh? Good to see it. So Pittsburgh looks like they're going to run away with it, but Tennessee still has a shot. Down 2 scores. One last stop with the Steelers defense wasn't enough, so Pittsburgh's going to win this one 27-10. We'll take a look at the stats and kind of how we got here. Snow games are always fun. At least they're like Mac Jones had a really nice game. Um, Connor gets a touchdown catch, sure. Javonte Williams with an 80-yard touchdown run. Claypool. And then Henry gets the only touchdown for Tennessee. And then we'll look at the player stats. Tannehill throws 3 interceptions on the day. Yep, that's going to do it. It's hard to win a game for throwing 3 picks. Mac Jones with 2 touchdowns, no picks. A really nice game for him. Probably his best of the season, arguably. Maybe not enough volume, but Javonte Williams averaging 8 for a carry. James Conner averaging 4. Obviously helped with the 80-yard run. Maybe without that, not too bad of a game. Derrick Henry, though, 4 yards per carry, a touchdown. That's a pretty solid game, I'd say. But Larry Fitzgerald, 9 for 123. Claypool gets 100 yards and a touchdown. Thielen had a little bit of an off game, but it's all right. Claypool picked up his slack on this one. Tim Patrick, after last week being so awesome, this week was a little bit slower for him. And then, yeah, only the 1 catch for Deontay. But, Taylor Moton has a pancake, but Nishki allows 5 sacks. Little and Dotson and Ramczyk allow 2. Morgan Moses allows 1. Lots of sacks in this game. Should be interesting on the stats. Devin Bush had a huge game, including a half sack. And then Jayon Brown with 10 tackles as well. Alualu, Schobert, and Hayward, multiple tackle for losses. A bunch of players here at 1. And then for the sacks, TJ Watt with 4, finally having another big game. Quan Short, Cam Hayward with 2 each. Jeffrey Simmons 1.5. Azeez Ojulari with 1. Half sack for Devin Bush and Tart. And Chandler Jones with a half sack as well. Haven't seen a lot from Chandler Jones recently since he got rebooted. Rebooted. Well, anyway, interceptions. Highsmith, Kareem Jackson, and Devin Bush. Tart has 2 pass defended as well. This was Kareem and Devin Bush. No forced fumbles this time. Just all of the picks. And kicking. Looks like they all held serve. Oh, wait. He missed a short one? Not you. Bosgod. I got blocked. Tough. Tough, tough, tough. But yeah, that's going to be game 1. Pittsburgh takes the dub. Alright, let's do the Jets versus Dolphins game. So the Dolphins after this game can be, they can stay a game back of the playoffs, and that's huge for them. They're trying to sneak in on the playoffs here, and they have a good chance to. I don't think that they're necessarily out of it at all. Still recording, still doing good, for whatever that's worth. This is the last Mariota game too. Well, depending on if they played. Wait, no, 2 is back. Yeah, 2 is back. They didn't say anything, so it goes back to their start. They got safety, so easy dubs looks like for Miami. What I mean? Oh, that's interesting. They couldn't finish it though. Jets made it interesting, but they couldn't come out with a win. Tua looked like he had a nice game. Jameis Winston struggled early down probably, but Tua 4 touchdowns in the first half. Obviously things flipped on him in the second half, but not bad enough to do that. And then he did throw a pick, but it's pretty good. I mean, 3 for 35, 4 touchdowns. His first game back, helps was against the Jets. It was pretty good. James Winston, pretty solid game for him as well. Michael Carter was good on the ground. Najee, also very good on the ground. So both running attacks really kept it going. Aguilar and Crowder near 100 yards. Jakeem Grant didn't get a touchdown, but did have 84 yards. Gesicki with 2 touchdowns. Corey Davis has the 2 touchdowns. And Granson. Also Devontae Parker gets a touchdown. So a lot of good stats for these receivers of the Dolphins. For sacks allowed, only Kelsey allows one for the Dolphins. That's definitely the last guy you'd expect. And then tackle for losses, got a few players with multiple, a bunch with 1. Shaq Lawson and Ogba get a sack each. Burgess and Quinn Williams combined for a sack. Ronald Jones, Ashton Davis with the picks. And a bunch of players with a pass deflected. No forced fumbles. Safety, Gruger Hill gets it. And for kicking, they both missed 2 50-yarders. They didn't make any other kicks. So kicking was a wash. Both were bad. Relatively, I guess, because obviously you're kicking 50-yarders. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Miami pulls to even after as bad as their start was to finish at 500 right now. It's a hell of a turnaround for them. Obviously, the schedule getting a lot easier helps. It's still. All right, Carolina and Buffalo. Buffalo really needs this one. They can't afford to fall at 7-7. They really need it. And they do start off with some points of 2 scores. Carolina though pulls it close to even at least. Carolina down 4. Missed the extra point though, that hurts. Didn't get the 2-pointer. Ooh, they do take the lead. Oh, Carolina wins it. Carolina pulls off the upset. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow for Buffalo. They were in control this whole game and then let it go at the very end. Carolina takes a 1-point win from Buffalo. It looked like Buffalo was close enough to kick a field goal near the end of the game, but they couldn't get it off. So just all touchdown runs, and then that's crazy. Josh Allen was fine. Bridgewater had a touchdown and a pick because he does that every week here. Running the ball. Both teams are able to run the ball well. A lot of rushing touchdowns too. It's just weird. Juju had a huge game, 6 catches, 112. Ian Thomas was awesome, 97 yards. Diggs had 7 catches, 78. Need a lot more for Dawson Knox. Danny Brown though. Deion Dawkins lost 4 sacks. Yikes. It's probably a huge game for Brian Burns. Milano Winovich with 8 tackles. Matos, Milano, Tuitt, and Winovich with tackle for losses. Wow, Burns only had a half sack. But Kerry Hyder and Winovich, 2 sacks, 1.5 sacks. Shaq Thompson with 1, and then a whole bunch of players that had a half sack. Abraham Campbell with a pick. And then a bunch of players that pass defended as well. Ooh, a blocked extra point for Shaquem Griffin. I'm guessing it's the extra point because otherwise. No one made a 50-yarder again. Bass. Oh, he might have attempted a 50-yarder and missed it for the win. But yeah, Elliott Fry had an extra point blocked. Only 1 for 4. You needed something from Taylor Bass. One of those 50-yarders goes in and they win this. It did not. We can look at the highlights real quick and see exactly. Oh my God. They had the ball in the Carolina 24, and he just takes a sack, and they lose. But I'm guessing he also misses a. Well, that's 59, so that's kind of tough. See if the other one happened in the fourth. If it didn't, we're just gonna call it good. Nope. But yeah, that sucks. That's really tough. He had a chance to kick another field goal, and they just took a sack instead. So that's very tough. All right. Well, Dallas versus the Giants. I mean, Dallas definitely could use to lock up the division right here. The Giants could also just use to get a win. They have a game lead over the number one pick right now, so they're safe. They win one accidentally. Still recording? We are still recording. Let's go. I'm paranoid now. I keep checking. The Giants start things off, but Dallas marches right down the field, scores a touchdown. And that looks like a pick six or a punt return or something for the Giants. Or not for the Giants, for the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys definitely took control of this game in the middle two quarters. After that, big special teams or defense play. Maybe it could have been a run, I guess. Could have been a long run because it's just so quick. But either way, they really took control of that, took care of business. Um, fucking Irv Smith. Are you fucking kidding me? I hate this guy. I really do. I hate him. Hate him. Yeah, Jones throws two picks. Certainly doesn't help. Rushing. Zeke was awesome. Obviously had that long run. Then Mike Davis is pretty good as well. CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Waddle. Pretty good. Sacks allowed. Thomas and Peart didn't have good games. Lots of sacks again in this one. This is just a week of sacks. Surtain with 10 tackles. Never a good sign. Bradley Anae. DeMarcus Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence. Tristan Hill. Randy Gregory and Neville Gallimore all with a sack or more. Jalen Smith gets both picks. Then it's pass deflections, no forced fumbles, blocks, safeties, touchdowns. Granguno missed the 50-yarder, but it didn't much matter. Greg the Leg misses his first kick of the year. Oh, it was a 30-yarder too. Tough, my boy. He missed one. You hate to see it. Moving on. All right, Jacksonville versus Houston. Jacksonville obviously hoping to keep pace with the so because of the Patriots winning, um, The Patriots won, Steelers won. So to keep pace with their chance at the one pick, they need to win. They are likely sitting out of that now with only 3 games remaining after this, even if they do win. But Steelers have a very tough schedule. The Pats have some very tough games coming up. So there's certainly still a window for them to make it, including beating the Patriots themselves to get that tiebreaker. But it's just a matter of getting the Steelers down that far too. But even the 2, playing the 7 seed is better than playing the 6 or whatever. Jacksonville strikes first, takes till the second quarter to do so. But now they got a 1-score lead going in half. And now Houston tied it up. And Houston takes the win. I think the first win of the Deshaun Watson era here. It was close, neck and neck, but that early third, late second run for them was huge. They scored 2 touchdowns before I had a chance to answer, and that ended up keeping them in the game when it could have turned into a blowout really quickly. So they did a good job in the 2-minute drill, especially to get the points. But you have Kenny Golladay having 2 early touchdowns, Kiki Kuti, and then Duke Johnson kind of sandwiching that half, like I said, and then just some field goals. But Aikens' touchdown catch gives them the final difference in the game. Both quarterbacks pretty good, 2 touchdowns and a pick each. Lawrence with more yards at 303, but also on more attempts. Yards per attempt pretty even as well. So basically they played the same game. But Le'Veon not as good as he had been in other weeks. Really, neither running attack was super efficient. But Aikens, 73 yards. Golladay with 112 and 2 touchdowns. Chanel with 50. Kutu with 74. AJ Green and Brandon Cooks had a couple big catches in there, it looks like, as well. For blocking, Reef, Luan, and Titus Howard allowed at least a sack. Oops. And then for defense, Coleman with 12 tackles and Adams with 11. Jacob Martin, Frank Clark, Goats, and Greenard, Hughes, Baker, and Allen with half sack. Hughes and Coleman getting an interception. Rocky Sin, Miles Jack with multiple passes defended. Omeniu forces a fumble, but it wasn't recovered by the defense, so probably not turnover. And then kickers held serve, it looks like, 100%. So it wasn't kickers that lost the game. But yeah, what a game. Houston gets another win. And that does mean that the Giants now can pretty much win out. And there's 3 games left. But the Giants have some wiggle room. They still got the 1 pick. So a good week for them on their hunt for the number 1 pick. And then as for Jacksonville, with Tennessee losing also, there's no real danger for them. Because then the Titans would have beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they would have lost. Then it's a game lead, and I think they split their series. Yeah, they split their series, so it would have been interesting then. But with the Titans' loss, also, it's gonna look unlikely that they could drop 2 games. Yeah, specifically, Patriots and Colts could be 2 games they drop, but I don't think they will. They've been too good of a team throughout this year. But yeah, on to Green Bay versus the Ravens. So let's see if Lamar Jackson can have his kind of MVP-like game here. He hasn't had one in a while. That's probably what it's going to take to get a win in this one, if I would guess. But it's in there for sure. Defense just cannot stop the Packers' offense, which makes sense. But settling for field goals when the Packers are going to score a lot of touchdowns is not ideal. But guys within 11, within 5, but made it close, but not. They couldn't complete the comeback. Didn't have enough time left on the clock. So yeah, let's take a look at the scoring summary. A short field goal there. That sucks. Touchdown there changes the game entirely. But Devontae Adams, Kadarius Toney, Aaron Jones, 53-yarder from Tucker is impressive. Albie. Then you have the Hollywood Brown touchdowns at the end in their comeback effort. But Lamar's really good. I mean, 108 passer rating, 318 yards, 66% completion, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, he was, maybe a little higher average yards per attempt, get up to 350. But, he was about as good as you'd hope for. Well, one more touchdown would have been nice, too. But Aaron Rodgers just shy of 100 passer rating because of the pick, but was similarly pretty good. And then Aaron Jones nearly 100 yards rushing. Devonta Freeman, 60. So definitely the Packers ran the ball very well in this one. And then for the receiving, Mark Andrews, Devontae Adams just dueling it out. Adams does get the touchdown, but Andrews has more catches. Hollywood Brown with the 2 touchdowns late. And then Odell had a nice game, 4 catches, 78, but wasn't enough. Gallup was also pretty nice. So really all the weapons showing up. Pancake for Stanley and a sack allowed. Darisaw and William Johnson all allowing a sack. William Jackson, Rashawn Gary each with more than 10 tackles. A bunch of players with 1 tackle for loss. Von Miller, Alden Smith, Rashawn Gary getting the sacks in the game. Marlon Humphrey with the interception. Mackenzie Alexander and Adrian Amos with the pass defended. And Amos blocks a punt, too. Or a field goal, yes, could be either. Yeah, 49-yarder miss from Tucker. Probably blocked. Yep. So Amos with a huge block. Because that does bring him to within a score game, within a field goal game. And then maybe they could have scored at the end or played a little differently. But yeah, big win for Green Bay. They keep rolling. Keep pace on the Bucks, who are in control of the number 1 pick right now. Or number 1 seed right now. Number 1 pick. Wait, are they in control? Someone's in control. Sorry, they keep pace because they're both tied. And I don't know who's in control of that. I forgot. But yeah, they keep pace, if nothing else. Arizona versus Detroit. The Lions have won a lot of games they shouldn't have, but I don't know if this one's going to be one of them. Cardinals team's been very weird this year. Very talented team, but they just can't seem to get out of their own way. If they lose this one, that's definitely what's going to happen. It's not going to be a Lions being the better team. It's going to be the Cardinals not getting out of their own way. But we'll see. Cardinals jump out first, and they get a 2-score lead. Detroit does answer, but I thought that was going to be a score for Detroit. Yeah, that's probably enough to beat the Lions 24. But it's 10-point game. Yeah, there you go. I thought this would be an Arizona beat down, but it's just been such a weird team, hard to predict. Mika. But yeah, Kyler Murray, Ebron, 2 Murray touchdowns early. Geronimo Allison getting the touchdown catch. Saquon with a 75-yard run. And then Ronald Jones gets a run as well. Goff is not very good with the 3 picks. Kyler Murray, very efficient. Low volume, but just rolling. Saquon with 163 yards, averaging 10 per carry. Obviously helped by the long touchdown run. And then a bunch of players with 1 rushing touchdown, including Kerryon Johnson. DeAndre Swift with a fumble as well, so a lot of turnovers by Detroit. Can't win a game like that. Eskridge and Williams were both very good, but kind of low volume for Arizona, but was efficient with the volume as Ebron gets the touchdown catch. Allison with his. For sacks allowed, Vaitai and Pugh allow 2. Ragno, Jackson, Decker, and Humphries allow 1. Isaiah Simmons with 9 tackles. Aquara with 2 tackle for losses. Everybody else sitting at 1. Then Akeem Hicks, 2 sacks. Milton Williams, the rookie, 1.5 sacks. Harold Landry with 1.5 sacks. And Wake, tack. And then half sack for Trevathan and JOK. Isaiah Simmons with 2 picks. What a game for him. Quan Williams with the other. Jordan Hicks and JOK with the pass defended. Byron Murphy forces 2 fumbles and recovers one of them. And then, looks like Gostkowski doesn't miss the kick. And Wright doesn't attempt one. Jack Fox with a 60 average. That's impressive. Alright, we are on to Cincinnati versus Denver in our second to last game, and then I'll try to show box scores for the Monday and Sunday night football game since the game fucking hates me. Granted, the game might hate me anyway, and not let me do that either. But Cincinnati versus Denver up first. Cincinnati currently the 5 seed in the playoffs, so hoping to keep that seeding. Denver with an outside shot at the playoffs. And by outside, I do mean very outside. But Denver, wow, it really jumps on them, really. Wow, Denver is all over right now. But Cincinnati comes storming back, down 2. Denver gives them a little cushion. Cincinnati takes 3-point lead, and that is the game. Cincinnati did a good job to fight back. The onslaught from Denver early was not enough to hold off the Bengals in this one. But you got McManus and then Gordon, O.J. Howard, and K.J. Hamler getting touchdowns. Only could get field goals, really, from Cincinnati early. But then they had a safety, then a pick 6 from Jesse Bates, and then the Giovanni Bernard touchdown run, and then Ty Williams had a touchdown run as well. With the Bullock short field goal, ended up giving them the last little cushion they needed. But Joe Burrow didn't have a particularly good game. Fitzpatrick started off, I'm guessing, really hot, but then you got the other end of Fitzpatrick where he threw 3 picks total. Running tag, Mixon was all right. He just under 4 per carry, but it was pretty solid. And then O.J. Howard and T. Higgins were both very good. Devonta Smith with nearly 100 yards as well. Kyle Pitts didn't get too much involved. Mitchell Wilcox, the GOAT. O.J. Howard and Hamler with the touchdowns. Orlando Brown, Muti, and Feliciano. Mooty's got hurt on the play. That sucks. Patrick Peterson with 12 tackles. A lot of tackle for losses in this one, because both teams tried to run the ball a lot. And then Godshot and Reader with Trent Murphy with the sacks. Jesse Bates had 2 picks in the game. I think that's his first 2 of the season. Get them both here, and then obviously has the touchdown, which was huge. Trent Murphy gets the safety. Jesse Bates gets the touchdown. Obviously huge for the game. And I don't think anybody missed a kick. Good on them. So yeah, Cincinnati pulls it off. Keeps their seeding. And maybe stops the Steelers from clinching their playoff spot. Last one, Seattle versus LA. So Seattle currently has a 1-game lead over the division. Well, now a half game because the Cardinals win. So if they lose, brings back into a 3-way tie, the Rams lose, they are tied with the Niners for the last two playoff spots, which they have. Regardless of how this game comes out, they will have all of the wild card spots in their divisional slot. It's just a matter of how much cushion they have on that. So I think if you're rooting for the division to get that as a whole, you want the Rams to win because you want them to stay bunched together so they all make the playoffs. But we'll see how this goes. I know, Mika. I know. Indeed. We're going to start with the Rams scoring 2 quick touchdowns. Yeah, I know. Rams out to a quick, huge lead. They're gonna run away with this one. Seattle can't do anything different here. I know, Mika. I know. Seattle does try to make an effort at it, but 45 points is just too much. Seattle's defense really fell apart in this one. The Rams with a convincing victory. Let's take a look at the scoring summary. A lot of it. Woods, a Stafford run, Chris Carson, and then Williams and Higbee get touchdowns. Van Jefferson gets a touchdown, and Latavius Murray kind of caps off their scoring. We do have another Chris Carson run, and two Chris Carson touchdown runs is their touchdowns, and then a penny as well. Matt Stafford, 4 touchdowns, no picks, was excellent. Russell Wilson trying to torpedo his MVP campaign. It always happens at some point. This one was that one. Then for rushing, yeah, basically nothing except for rushing touchdowns. But anyway, Metcalf 116 yards, but that was about it for their real passing game. Well, Metcalf and Lockett. Sorry, I missed Lockett up there. And even Djax, actually, they didn't have too bad of a game. The Rams were very spread out on their game. But, yeah. And then 4 sacks allowed total. Jordan Brooks with 11 tackles. Quite a good amount of tackle for losses, actually. But only the 4 sacks, like I said. Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Darnell Taylor, and then Robinson and Reed combining for a sack. Reuben Foster and Marcus Williams with the interceptions. Ramsey, Shaq Griffin, Aaron Donald, and Jordan Brooks with the passes defended. No forced fumbles, no safeties, no touchdowns. And kicking. Well, Jason Myers didn't he didn't miss a kick. He made a short one. And Prater made his 1-for-1 as well. So, overall, pretty normal game for these guys, really. No safeties or weird shit. But a weird bad game from Russell Wilson leads to a blowout. Alright, so now we have to go into the schedule and look at the I don't know why it shows some games not being played at all. But oh. So, Saints Bucks, as you can see, was a very good game. Back and forth. Saints had a chance to make a comeback in the end, but they just could not stop the offense from Brady. Brady was just spectacular in this game. I mean, 24-25, 454 yards, 4 touchdowns. Just spectacular. The only miss he threw, he just went right through the receiver's hands out of bounds. But Jimmy Garoppolo was also very good. Not Tom Brady good. And that's why they didn't win the game. But he was very good as well. Probably his best game. Kamara, very good. Just being a consistent runner. But most of that is on that one long carry. But then Jamar Chase had his big game, kind of his breakout. At least because he hasn't done it yet. And then Mike Evans was completely unguardable. Will Fuller was almost completely unguardable as well. Godwin had a big catch for that touchdown. It's a pretty big catch. I think it was the last one of the game. Kamara and Gronk had 2 goal line catches, 1 on 4th down, to kind of keep going. And then you can see here defense. 4 tackles for loss for Anthony Walker. He was all over the place in the run game. Zach Bond, Weaver, Rankins, and then Nelson and Ingram with sacks. No picks because Quarterbacks played awesome. Only a couple pass deflections for the Bucks, like I said. Didn't throw incompletions for the Bucks. But yeah, that is the story of that game. And then for the last of our games that we couldn't see, Chicago just kind of takes care of business. I actually really didn't watch this one that much because I was sick of watching it. I didn't think it'd be a good game. Big Ben was great throughout. Every time I looked, he was throwing a completed pass for 20 yards, it felt like. So that was good. Kirk Cousins was not good, threw the pick. They couldn't run the ball, and the other team could, though. Justin Jefferson had a nice game. David Montgomery had a huge long catch in this one. And then, yeah, overall, I mean, it's just a lot of average yards per catch or whatever because they just threw deep bombs. But then sacks allowed. It was weird that the Bears didn't allow any sacks. It's kind of always what they do, but they didn't. And then for sacks, Golston, Smith, Shepard, and Mingo. Morig got the pick. That's right. Jalen Johnson with 2 pass deflections. So yeah, that was that game. We are at 36 minutes. All right, I got more time. Let's go through the let's advance the week, and then we will go into the stats and stuff. So take a look at our playoff picture first. Big matchup next week against Chiefs. I'm excited for that. The Dolphins have snuck into the playoffs. Look at you guys go. Proud of you guys, the Dolphins. Titans maintain their 6th spot because of some other shenanigans. But look at our playoffs over there in the NFC. It is all NFC West and then the division winners. So it's still very exciting over there. But the Ravens dropping out of the spot for the Dolphins. Tied at 7-7 now. But still a lot of football left to be played on that front. And then we could take a look at, yes, stats. Oh, shoot, I should have done standings, actually. Standings first, Nick. It's okay, Mika. The Steelers have clinched the playoffs. Patriots have clinched the division. The Cowboys clinched the division as well. So, still can't clinch that damn division. Those pesky Bengals sitting there, hanging out. The Jaguars fall in spot 2. So, the AFC, Steelers are the 1 seed right now. The Patriots are the 2 seed. With the Jaguars loss, it is a 2-man race for the number 1 seed because it would be unlikely to see the Chiefs or Jags or Bengals gain enough to overtake both of them. But you can see. And then the Titans, Dolphins, Bills, Browns, and Ravens, all at 7-7. So that is 5 teams vying for 2 spots. Still with the Raiders and Chargers at outside chances of that spot, but with 5 teams with all the same record, it's going to be unlikely that they do beat that. But the Bengals now have a 2-game lead over the wildcard spot, so they're getting close to clinching a playoff berth themselves. And similarly, as in the AFC now, the NFC is a 2-horse race, and it has been a 2-horse race for a while. They have clinched the, at worst, 2 seed, but the number 1 seed is very important because you want that bye. And then Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, and Niners, all with at least a game lead over the Falcons. Then there's another game. So the Niners, sitting as the lowest one, have a game and essentially a game and a half with a head-to-head tiebreaker with the Falcons. It's okay, Mika. It's okay. A lot of 5-9 teams over here, and the Giants. But the AFC North, Bengals, why I can't clinch. AFC South, the Titans right there, but Jaguars, as long as they can stop their run, could be fine. Colts still taking L's. Patriots clinching, like I said. The Dolphins and Bills right next to each other. Chiefs did not quite clinch the division. That's just because they haven't won 10 games yet. But if they win next week, they have clinched it. Or if they win at any point, they just need to win one more game and they're in. So They're fine. The Packers clinched a while ago. They have an 8-game lead over the Bears, so that's fun. And I mean, they have a 7-game lead over the Vikings. So again, it's just a blowout. They've clinched the division now because of the football team beating the Eagles, but they won, so they were already going to be pretty close. And then the NFC West, just hilarious, a hilarious division to me. They're all they're all so even, especially considering how bad they were outside of their own division for a while. Like they weren't even particularly good outside of the division for a time. But either way, stats. Which one we got? I didn't spend too long talking about records and stuff. All right, Patrick Mahomes has taken the lead in passing yards after Matt Ryan's just atrocious game. So Matt Ryan's pretty much fallen out of that race, but I think Tom Brady's trying to put himself in it with that huge game. But we'll see. It's open right now. Touchdowns, but Mahomes is definitely looking like the more likely candidate for it. I will say Tannehill up to 16 INTs because of last week. Completion percentage, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers at 69%, just nice. Passer rating, Rodgers still leads the way. Then it goes to Mahomes, Russ, Stafford, Fields, with Brady kind of hanging out right there too. And then for rushing, Zeke, after a big week, takes a commanding lead, about 120 yards over Derrick Henry. But then we have Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Saquon, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, and Dalvin Cook all at the 1,000-yard mark. Taylor, Bell, Najee, and Melvin Gordon likely to join them next week. A few more in striking distance of getting that this year. A few more that are not, obviously. Derrick Henry with 16 touchdown runs, keeping his lead in that category. But James Robinson, Saquon, McCaffrey, all kind of on his heels on that one. Baker and Trey Lance getting 4 fumbles, our first seat there. Proud of him. Nick Chubb leading the way in broken tackles by a lot. Yards after contact, still kind of looking the same as before. And then receiving, Tyreek Hill, like I said during their game, I think, takes the lead in receiving yards, which makes sense. Huge week. He's kind of been huge week dependent. That's kind of been how he's for his career. Devontae Adams, I think, joins us. No, was it Adam? Someone joined us on this list. There's only 3 last week, but he takes over second place at least, over Thielen and Gage. These 4 kind of have a little bit of a gap between them and then the next. So Metcalf and Evans are sitting just below 1,000 yards. Cooks likely gets there next week. I thought he would this week actually though. Tyler Lockett kind of the same thing, and then a whole bunch of players kind of sit in striking distance of it, but they're going to need good weeks to get there. Calvin Ridley is kind of the more disappointing what ifs of this season, just because, everything. But yeah, touchdowns, Gage, Hill, Knox, and Grant at 10 plus. See average yards per reception too. So Tyreek and Adam Thielen up there near the top. I usually call it 50, kind of up a Galladay just below. Devo, kind of the same thing, just not enough catches. These guys right here, 54, 51 catches. So depends on where I cut it off is who gets included. But sacks allowed. Our boy Hal Vaitai at 25. You love to see it. Beach at 19. Sounds like to join at 20. Our tackles, our solo tackle watch. Blake Martinez is 5 tackles away from 100 solo tackles. And we got Zach Cunningham and Fred Warner all within 10. Then for total tackles, though, Fred Warner, 130, leading the way. A bunch of players have joined us. Derwin, maybe the first safety to get to 100 tackles. Leonard Williams is taking the lead in tackle for losses with the DeForest Buckner injury, and I think Draymond Jones got hurt too, actually. But yeah, Leonard Williams has been nice. Von Miller and TJ Watt now tie for the lead in sacks at 19.5. TJ Watt just had a 4-sack game to get up there. So the race is getting interesting in the AFC because it's between Garrett and TJ Watt. Probably goes to Garrett right now. But yeah. Jalen Smith and William Jackson have 6 interceptions, so Jalen Smith has joined William Jackson on the interception leaderboard. And then deflections, Jalen Ramsey has joined the 13 club with Ward and Lattimore. And then Dory Jackson, Kendall Fuller right below. We still only got the 2 people to force, 3 fumbles. Still only got 5 people to recover multiple. And then touchdowns, as nobody else joined the 2 touchdown gang. Nobody else has. So that whole list will be there. And then we now no longer have 100% field goal kicker, so this percentage is going to be a little more interesting. Well, Gostkowski, but he doesn't qualify because he's only kicked fucking 2 of them. But Greg still at 96% leads the way because he's kicked enough of them. But some other people kind of biting at his heels there. If he misses another one for sure, he'll fall below that. But most field goals made, still Butker. McGinnis has attempted the same amount, just hasn't made as many. No 58-yarders, yeah, just a bunch of 57s. Still, McPherson's got 2. Crosby's got 3. Fry's got 2. The Panthers cannot block anybody over there. And then, so as you can see, we have a long on a kick return, Javian Hawkins up there, 48 with Erickson, and then punt return. I think we still have just the 1. Yep, Devin Duvernay, 1 touchdown. But yeah, that's our stats. We'll take a look at the awards. See what it says for weekly awards. Yep, Tom Brady, Tyreek with 250. So yeah, he was not quite at 1,000 before this week. Jesse Bates, Isaiah Simmons, because they each had 2 picks, but Bates has the touchdown. All well deserving. Yearly awards. Who's leading MVP? They still give it to Russell Wilson, huh? Yeah, Lamar second. I don't know about all that. I do not know about all that. Coach of the year. On a losing streak, we're going to give it to the Jaguars. John Madden. I don't know how they decide it. It's kind of fun. Offensive player of the year, they give it to Lamar. In the AFC defensive player of the year, they're giving it to Myles Garrett, which I expected. That makes sense. He's had a little stack for losses too. Offensive rookie of the year, Najee Harris. Makes sense. He's been kind of heating up as of late. He's gonna hit 1,000 yards. I can understand why Madden put him there. Greg Newsome kind of led this for the whole time, so be interesting to see if Aziz, who's been hot lately, if he can get a couple more sacks and enter this conversation a little more seriously. Best QB, Mahomes. That makes sense. I kind of think he should be Offensive Player of the Year. Derrick Henry, best running back. If he can be in the MVP voting, sure. Tyreek Hill leads the league in it. Makes sense. Quentin Nelson, Moton, Shaq Mason, Ronnie Stanley, and Linder leading the way in offense. The flying thing. Forrest Buckner, Miles Garrett, DeForest Buckner, and J.J. Watt kind of the top 3. I think it's really these 2 guys. It's just a matter of who you give it to. Best linebacker, yeah, T.J. Watt by a fucking mile over here. Darius Phillips for best DB. That's interesting. I don't know if he got picks this week or anything. I think Byard's been probably better. I don't know. But Lambeau is best kicker. Although I think I'd give it to Butker. But yeah, Offensive Player of the Year, Russ. Defensive Player of the Year is going to be one of the Packers guys because no one else is stepping up to make any more plays than they are. Trey Lance, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Ernest Brown keeps his Defensive Rookie of the Year, but Micah's coming for him. Aaron Rodgers wins Best QB despite the fact they didn't give him Offensive Player of the Year. Zeke, best running back. Russell Gage, best receiver. David Bakhtiari, Wirfs, Zach Martin, Lindsley, and Johnson, and he just all them. Demarcus Lawrence going to win best D-line. But Nick Bosa's coming on pretty strong. I can see him having another good week and taking over that mantle. But William Jackson, best DB, makes sense. And yeah, that is our awards. Do you have time, team? Yeah, I got time. So our offenses. Total offensive yards. Chiefs have taken the top spot from the Packers, I think. I don't think they were top last. But, yeah. Fifth worst offense, Patriots by yards. They still score a ton of points, so it doesn't matter. passing offenses. I guess maybe I shouldn't care about this as much because it's basically just going to be the passing yards leaders, but oh well. We'll roll it still. Look at me go, top 10. Woo. I think that was top 10. I don't even know for sure. We still got 3 teams who have not ran for 1,000 yards. The Lions are definitely going to do it at some point. They're going to run for 11 yards, but the Falcons and Rams, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to get there. They may actually be below 1,000 yards on the season. But points, Cowboys have taken the lead on that because the Seahawks had. I guess the Seahawks were right about their average before. But yeah, Chiefs, one of the best too. And yeah, defense. So the Bucks actually after having a bad game too. So be interesting to see kind of how their dominant stretch looks now that they haven't been quite as dominant with their most recent showing. But they're still the top defense in the league. Obviously, you can have a bad game and still be one of the best defenses in the league. Patriots, obviously, they win their games with defense. Have all year, and they've been great. Ravens are still the best pass defense, so have been good at that all year. Bucks still top 3 even after Jimmy G sliced him up a bit. And the Bucks still the best rushing defense by 140 yards, damn near. So only 3 teams do not allow 1,000 yards. Packers will allow 1 more yard. The Browns will allow 16 more yards, but will the Bucks allow 153 more in 3 games? You'd think they're right on that edge, but they could maybe do it, depending on who they play. But yeah, oh shit, I was supposed to scroll down. Sorry. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. The Lions are the worst. So I have a 25-point lead over the Packers still, even after a bit of a rough week. And then the Packers have a nearly 41-point lead over the Patriots next. And then Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Cowboys. That's my top 10. Whatever. You guys can read too. And our worst. Who's our worst? The Saints. I go for 400 points. The Giants and Bills, though, right in there. Bills have been really disappointing, I think. Steelers are taking second place over the Bucks after having so many sacks last week. But the Packers still are pacing the field in that department. Yeah, I don't got anything more to say. Vikings now just can't get a pass rush going. Down 4 for the Bengals. Chiefs are still bottom 3, but they've at least been getting sacks now. Fumble recovery, Steelers still lead the way. I don't know if I actually care about this one as much. We'll do this in conversions too. But 4 teams not to recover a fumble at all. There's only 3 picks. But yeah, Patriots, Rams at 17 makes sense. They have great secondaries. Yeah, conversions. The Seahawks still remain on top of the Steelers, even after a bit of a bad week. Over 50%, which is awesome still. So all these teams with 50%, it's a good reason why they're all in the playoffs, except for the Bills, because the Bills can't do anything right. 4th down, Steelers still the only 100% team. They haven't done one in a while though. 2 teams to 4 2-point conversions. Packers haven't done one in a minute, but haven't need to. Jets still the best team at scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Saints are up there too. Poor Dolphins. The Bucks are still the best red zone defensive team, but they're getting a little closer to the other ones that are in their range. Penalties. The Eagles are still the least penalized team. The Bucks, Browns, Packers, and Jets with the Patriots are also down here. Steelers too, right, kind of in that same range. So a lot of teams that win games shockingly don't get penalized a lot. Weird. The Rams, though, team kind of like a lot for a team that's won as much as they have. Same with the Chiefs, actually, and Cardinals, Niners. I don't know. There's nothing to this. I just like to make things out of it. The Patriots still lead the league in turnover differential, thanks in large part to their defense being the most turnovers. But their offense, similar to the Steelers, their offense has done a good job of not turning the ball over. The Rams, they're a little bit less turnover averse on offense, but they do force more turnovers on defense, unlike the Steelers, for example. So they're still up there, and all our positive teams. The Niners are going to need to get better at that, though. They're going to want to have a chance in the playoffs, actually. Seahawks, same thing, actually. They've been pretty brutal. They're the lowest playoff team in that regard. Well, Titans. Yeah, Titans are lower. And Dolphins. They both are. Oh, well. Giveaways. Patriots, Steelers tied for the lowest. Only 5 teams below 10. Are they going to stay below 10? By rate, these guys aren't. These guys are, but you can go on a run of 3 weeks without turnovers. So it'll be interesting to see if these teams can hold on and not give up the ball anymore. The Lions still lead the league with most turnovers. But that's fun. Patriots, Steelers, Ravens are our top 5 in interceptions. Titans and Texans have not lost a fumble. They could just not throw picks. They've been great. Takeaways. Patriots, Rams, and then Chiefs, Steelers, and Jags are in the top 5. The lowest takeaways are the Bears, still with only 6. Panthers with only 7. So can on the flip side, see if they can actually force that many interceptions, though. We talked about them not having any fumble recoveries in the last bit. But yeah, that is about all the time we have. Let's take a look at the NFL records, see if our boy AP has gotten up higher. Adrian Peterson, not quite to Barry Sanders, 129 yards, 130 away from breaking it. And then touchdowns, Adrian Peterson has tied Marcus Allen. Still needs one more touchdown. So, see if AP can get there. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I sure hope this fucking saves. I have storage space. Just save it.